What's up, my friend? Welcome back to another video. So today I just wanted to share with you why CinePiano is still my favorite piano library. If you've known my channel for any length of time, you probably know that I love piano. I'm a classical piano player. That was my upbringing. And the world of sampled pianos is actually humongous. Like, there are so many choices out there, and you probably have your own favorite piano libraries as well. But because we all play on MIDI controllers to some degree, and we have to use pianos as sketches a lot of the times to get our ideas down, of course, the piano you choose can influence the ideas that you put down eventually. So for me, I want a piano that sounds clean, detailed, and just inspires me in a way that allows me to bring forth my best ideas. And CinePiano has been sort of my pick since day one. So what I want to do is give you a quick playthrough of this library, show you what comes with it, and you can make up your own mind at the very end of this video, and I'll ask you a question as well. But let's just get started. So CinePiano, I mean, you can see here, it's like the very top, the first library I have here in Contact Player or in the Contact software. And one reason I really love this library is because it's just very, very simple. You see how it comes with 4 different patches. So they've actually taken the same piano and recorded it in 4 different ways, 4 different microphone configurations and processing. And so it gives you variety while maintaining the simplicity of the library. But of course, it doesn't matter how simple or complicated a library is if it doesn't sound good. So let me play the default CinePiano patch out of the box, and then we'll share some thoughts. Here we go. All right, so that was a little playthrough of just the out-of-the-box patch. So if I were to ask you, what are some words you would use to describe this piano sound? Maybe take a second to think about it. If you ask me that question, I might say clear, detailed, high fidelity. That's more of a technical term, I guess. But there's just this clarity to the sound that's very balanced to me. It's not overly harsh. There's no high-end hiss. There's no low-end rumble. Of course, every sort of orchestral library or acoustic library will have some sort of frequencies that maybe aren't as desirable, but I think for this piano, it's as balanced as you can really get. They've also recorded this in the Sony scoring stage, as you can see here in this little postcard. But it also comes with microphone positions. And one of my favorite things about this patch is that if you do think that this piano is a little bit too sensitive or not sensitive enough, you can actually change the velocity curve yourself. This way, it doesn't really matter. Or you can choose one of these default settings. So by default, it's on linear. But often I want that same clarity in the sound, but I just want everything a little gentler, more comforting. So I will choose bias piano. Let me play that for you a little bit here. Right, so the samples themselves are the same samples, but it's just everything is a little bit quieter because we're activating sort of the lower dynamics that the piano was recorded with. That's I just like the flexibility of being able to play more freely and not having to worry about certain notes banging out or ringing out too hard. No library is perfect, obviously. This one is no exception. I do find sometimes if I'm playing just, off the cuff a little randomly, there's the occasional note that will suddenly ring out really, really loudly. And that's just, every library has their own little niggle. But another cool option here is that you can either enable a triple fortissimo layer, so like super, super loudly recorded, or you can turn it off. And that will prevent you from hitting those highest, dynamics by accident. So a lot of flexibility in this one patch by itself. Now, just so you know, I really don't touch any of these mic positions personally. I just don't have the need to, but if you wanted, you can go super close with it. You can go more roomy and ambient. Like it totally is up to you. But for me, by default, I tend to stick with Tim's mix 99, 100% of the time, to be completely honest. So that is the default patch. Now, let's just say we want a slightly different approach. Maybe we want to play a more classical, in a more classical setting. So let's hear what this one sounds like first. So to me, the main difference between this classical patch and the default patch is that the classical patch isn't quite as immediate in terms of the sound. Like it takes a slightly further approach, almost like you're listening from an audience perspective to a performer on the stage. And that's really, really nice if you're looking for that more orchestral sound where the piano is maybe a bit more in the background, like it's not taking center stage all the time. Or if you just simply like having a less immediate sound where it feels like it's mic'd a little bit further away. You still get the same clarity and detail in the sound, in my opinion, but it's just not quite as close up to the piano, not quite as intimate. So that's the classical patch. Now the cinematic patch is almost the opposite of that. It goes way close to the piano, but it's also almost like a felty sound. So let's play this one a little bit here. Right, so it's a lot more gentle, it's warm, it's comforting, right? It's almost nostalgic. And again, it almost has that sort of felty feel to it. So you can see how the cinematic patch is a very deliberate sounding instrument here. It's not quite as neutral as the CinePiano patch, or not quite as recital-like as the classical patch. It's a much more cinematic, if you want to put it that way. Now, finally, we have the Rock Studio Grand, which is the one I use the least. But if you're looking for that really hard, like aggressive sounding piano, this is the one for you. So. Right. So to my ears, it's very harsh, not harsh, but maybe like aggressive, right? It's very punchy, it's in your face. There's not a lot of depth to the sound. It's a very immediate, punchy sort of sound. So again, it's more for cutting through dense mixes. If you really want that strong, strident piano sound, then this patch is really good for that. But that's what I'm saying about CinePiano. It covers quite a bit of ground, from the softer to the more aggressive dynamics, and it gives you that everything in between. You can fiddle again with the velocity curves, as you can see with each of these patches, and it really is just completely up to you how you want to customize everything. There's also a character knob where you can go from more intimate to more aggressive. That's another way you can play with the velocity curves. I just tend to choose bias piano a lot of the times when I want something a little softer. But yeah, 9 times out of 10, I'm sticking with the basic CinePiano patch. Again, the detail, the clarity, the just musicality in all of the samples. It really speaks to me on a more deeper level in terms of how I enjoy music, how I like certain instruments to sound over others, if that makes any sense. So CinePiano has been my go-to for a long, long time. And I try not to overcomplicate things. Like, I tend to have maybe 1 or 2 other pianos in addition to CinePiano that I use on a regular basis. The other one being Spotlight Piano from Fracture Sounds, a gorgeous piano. I've done videos on this piano as well, but like the majority of the time, I'm usually using CinePiano. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of a sense of the library. Let me know if you have any questions about it. And if you're interested in picking up this library for yourself, I've included some links in the description where you can grab that. And if you do use those links, it will support me and the channel in a very small way, which is greatly appreciated. Of course, there's no obligation, but if you do want to support me and the channel, then that's a perfect way to do it. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. I'll leave a freebie in the description as well if you want to go a little bit deeper into my process, whether it's for sample libraries or composing. You can find that down below in the box as well. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.